Hey, this is Tony with Salt Strong, and I wanted to share a quick tip and also bring attention to a topic that I feel gets sort of overlooked by a lot of anglers, and it's a pretty important topic, and it comes down to line diameter and whether or not your line diameter is playing a role in whether you're catching fish or not. And the answer is yes. I see pretty much the biggest mistake I see a lot of anglers make when they're fishing inshore, especially newer anglers, is that they use too heavy of a line. They're too focused on line strength over line diameter. And you can catch some really big fish, 30, 40 pound fish in open water on 10, 15, 20 pound braid. It can be done. You just have to set your drag properly, know how to play those fish, and try not to horse them in. It's a little bit of a different story if you're fishing right on top of some bridge pilings and you really don't want to break that fish off. You want to get them in as quickly as possible and away from the structure. In that case, you do have to use a pretty heavy line. But as far as the reasons why line diameter is going to play a role in you missing out on fish, is if you go too heavy on your line, that's going to, number one, affect your casting accuracy and distance. And number two, the water is going to be dragging that line. The thicker the line, the more resistance on that line. So if you cast, let's say, a cut bait or a live bait out, next thing you know, your live bait is taken down current pretty quickly because the line has actually been caught by that current. Too thick of a line, it's going to get out of the strike zone much faster than if you're using a thinner line. So that's why you see, a lot of guys using braided line as their main line when fishing inshore. Pound for pound, as far as breaking strength, it's much thinner than monofilament. Monofilament's not going to cast as far, it's not going to cast as accurate, and also when it does enter the water, it's going to have a lot more drag on it. So let's say you're fishing a point, you make a cast with your lure, lands in the water, next thing you know, the current has drug your lure or your bait away from that point, or the wind, half your line's in the water, half your line's up out of the water. And if the wind catches that line, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to drag your bait, it's going to drag your lure away from where you intended that bait or lure to be. Now also, sometimes, the current may not drag your bait or your lure away from where you intended, your bait or your lure to be. What can happen is it's going to create a larger bow in your line. So you're going to have a lot of line out there, and you can actually miss a strike, you can miss a hook set because you have to, reel in all that slack before you go to set the hook. Or as you're trying to reel in that slack, it's pulling your bait away from the fish, or it's pulling your bait out of the fish's mouth. So again, line diameter, it's going to be a very important component when it comes to presenting your bait, whether it be live bait, cut bait, or artificial lures. Presentation is key when it comes to actually catching fish, because you want to get that lure, bait, whatever it may be, to those fish, and you want to keep it in that strike zone. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that these tips can help you out when it comes to catching more fish. But if you want to be guaranteed that you'll start catching more fish in less time, highly recommend checking out our Salt Strong Insider Club. Also, if you need to, switch out your line, if you're using too heavy of a line, need to buy some more line, we do carry braided line on our shop page, so you can definitely check that out at fishstrong.com. And if you do happen to be one of our insider members, keep in mind that you do get up to 20% off our shop page, so definitely be sure to take advantage of that. So that will wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. If you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the best online fishing club in America, because we actually guarantee that you'll catch more fish while saving time and also money on the tackle you need. We do this through premium education, our exclusive insider fishing community, and huge discounts on the best tackle for saltwater anglers. To learn more, go to saltstrong.com. Otherwise, we hope to see you again soon.